Hello, hello, hello. Hello, welcome everyone. I'm your host, Kristen Crumpler, and this is Musical Mind Games powered by Classical Public Radio, WDAV. Musical Mind Games, otherwise known as MMG, is a stream where we geek out about music and gaming and talk about the audiovisual experience that comes when the two combine. And if any of that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can subscribe by clicking that button down below. Turn on your notifications once you do that so you can know whenever we post another MMG stream and when we go live again. And make sure to check out the community tab on our WDAV channel. That's where you are gonna get more real-time updates about MMG. So there are things going on over there in that tab, and more things will continue to happen. So please check it out. We've got, as always, up to this point, we got Tamberly producing for tech tonight. Say hi, Tamberly. There we go. And thank you to all of you who are joining the stream tonight, whether you're actively chatting or, you end up lurking and just using this as background soundtrack or vibes for you this evening. We're glad to have you here. We appreciate your presence. So thank you for being here. So before we jump into the main things that we're going to talk about today, I do want to take a moment to talk about something serious and that something that the station is doing in order to help recent events. So I wanted to talk about Hurricane Helene and just acknowledge that for a second. Because we're in Davidson, we're in North Carolina. Shocker. And North Carolina, the western part, has been affected pretty badly by the recent hurricane. So because of the recent and ongoing damage from the hurricane, WDAV is supporting those affected in our community with a list of organizations providing aid that you can find on our website using the link in the stream's description. So here's the relief page, and here's an idea of what you'll see when you go to it. Again, the link to this page is in the stream's description, and it's also in the pinned comment at the top of chat, so you can find that there. But it gives several different resources, and hopefully it can be used as a jumping off springboard of sorts. This is a really tough time, and whether you've directly been affected or you have loved ones that's been affected by Hurricane Helene, hopefully this will take off some of that weight in time and effort trying to look for those resources yourself. And this will be able to assist you in getting help faster. So that's one of the things that we've done as a station to try to help support our community during this time. And in addition to those resources, we're donating a case of bottled water to an organization involved in the Hurricane Helene relief effort for every $100 donation to the station. So if you'd like your support of WDAV to reach further in this way, please consider visiting the link to our website in the description. Again, we just showed it. It's at WDAV.org, and you can click contribute. You can also use our WDAV mobile app to make that donation if you want. And if you're the type, you can also call us by calling 877-333-8990. So those are the different ways, and that's how, as a station, we're trying to make sure we're helping our community, because it's not just about listening music, it's about caring for the people who are listening and appreciating these art forms. So thank you all for your support, and thank you for listening to our what we had to say about recent events. So that's that, and we are going to move on into what we're gonna do for the stream. Hopefully tonight's stream will lift your spirits and get you back into those things that make you passionate, and help move forward your drive for things. So we're gonna be upbeat, or I'm gonna try to be as upbeat as much as I can. And hopefully, that'll give you some good relief during this time period. So, what we're gonna talk about today, we're gonna talk about the game Cuphead. And if any of you all have heard about the game Cuphead before, I'm going to give you more background. But if you've heard of it, I would like to, drop it down in the chat before, or rather, whether you've heard the game or not. We are looking at the chat, Tamberly and I. And so you will not be missed. You will not be ignored. We will try to acknowledge the messages that we see there. So we're talking about Cuphead, and specifically what I want to focus on is the music of the game and its relationship with its visual aspects. So what I mean by that, how the music extends the personality from its animations. It informs the player even more about their gameplay experience. So that's what we're gonna talk about tonight with Cuphead. I'm going to give you background of the game and, my first offhand experience with it. And then we're going to talk about that relationship between the music and its visual aspects and what experience it creates there. And then, then we're going to take a little break to a little 5-minute break at the very least to kind of help us get things set up, because I'm going to play the game for a little bit after that pause, just so you can see those things mentioned before the break come to life. So that's kind of the run a show for tonight's stream. And with that, we'll just get right into it. So, Cuphead. Quickly about my experience with the game. I've played the game Cuphead, and I have gotten pretty far, but I have not beaten the game yet. Part of the reason, or one of the reasons why I haven't beaten it yet, is because of its difficulty, and also because of its difficulty, I need some time to cool off between the different tries and attempts on all the different levels. But I've played Cuphead before, and it's definitely a game that I enjoy, and I go back to because of the experience that it's created. And I'll talk more about that as we continue down the stream. So what is Cuphead, for those of you all who didn't know what that game is? Cuphead is a run and gun shooter game released in 2017. And run and gun means basically there's your main character on the screen, and you have like a primary boss or something that you're trying to beat, then that you shoot at within the game. So that's what run and gun means. And for Cuphead, its main gameplay consists of boss levels that rely on you beating the boss start to finish in one run. And so that's where the difficulty comes in, because unless you're playing on its easier mode, the default mode has no checkpoints. So again, it's just trying to brute force it and get it all done in one run. So I wanted to point out, to go with what I said about the relationship of visual and music and Cuphead, I wanted to point out some of the details and give some starting backgrounds of Cuphead's visuals and its music. So Cuphead, the game, bases its animation off of the 1920s rubber hose style animation, and it bases its soundtrack off of genres like jazz, big band, and ragtime music. So rubber hose, that might sound unfamiliar to some of you all to begin with, but I'm pretty sure you've probably encountered rubber hose animation style from other things, but you might not have known it. So rubber hose animation, it gets its name from the extremely flexible limbs and curvy details of the subjects in its animation, like that of a rubber hose. So that's where the name rubber hose comes from. So think about characters like Betty Boop. There's this very old, and I think maybe the first popular rubber hose animation, Felix the Cat. And also, I'm pretty sure maybe many of you will recognize this one, but this other one is Disney's Steamboat Willie. That's another popular version of the rubber hose style animation. And there are other video games that also feature this rubber hose style outside of Cuphead. So there's a game called Bendy and the Ink Machine, and it delves into that style, but with the horror angle. So I highly encourage also taking a look at that one too. So that's the rubber hose animation style. So I want to also give some background of how jazz and big band and ragtime music, how that was, that creation process was for those genres inside Cuphead. So I've got a little screenshot. Yes, and I don't know if I can duck out the way, but so this screenshot that you're seeing, this first image is a screenshot from Green Man Gaming's article on the sounds of Cuphead. And so basically it was while I was looking for details that I came across on Cuphead for this stream, and I wanted to share with you all some of the neat information that I came across that also helped to deepen my understanding and my interest in the game. So let me see. The game's composer is Christopher Madigan, and he primarily drew inspiration from Duke Ellington and Scott Joplin for the jazz and ragtime sounds portrayed in the game. And there's another screenshot that I wanted to show you that talks about that a little bit more. There you go. Bear with us with the sizing of some of these screenshots. We will be, after the stream, linking the articles so you can read through them yourself. They're good reads. They are. And so if these sizing, if you can't read it from there, it'll be up there post the stream. So this second image is a screenshot from the Whole Notes, that's a website, the Whole Notes interview with Madigan. And so where these genres of jazz, big band, and ragtime end up actually getting in the game, it's not that hard to find them. It's not easy if you don't know those genres, but if you have an idea of the distinction between the two, it's clear where they show up. So you can mainly hear the jazz influence in the overworld and the boss levels of the game in Cuphead, and then ragtime can be heard in the smaller coin grab levels. And it said back there on the other image, stylistic iterations of its 4-note theme, and so I'll show you the stylistic iterations of the 4-note theme of the game when we get into the game later. So that's some background on Cuphead, both its music and its visual aspects. And so with that, we get into a little bit of the main reason why I wanted to talk about Cuphead. So going back to the Green Man Gaming article, going back to the Green Man Gaming article, there was one last image that I wanted to show on there. So if we could show it. Maybe not use the preview. There we go. Okay. So there was one last quote that I wanted to pull out and show from that article, because when I read it, I felt like it did a good job of describing some of the feelings that I experienced with playing the game and that I gleaned, start to like make my own thoughts about. So this last quote that's highlighted in green, I'm going to read it to you, so I won't be able to duck my head. But it says, "The finished result is a jumble of influences that captures the unrestrained experimentation of the era." And this quote is after the very first image that I showed you. It's the same paragraph, but it's the last sentence to it, where it's talked about the inspirations from Duke Ellington and Scott Joplin. And so, again, I'm going to read that sentence again, or that quote again. The finished result is a jumble of influences that captures the unrestrained experimentation of the era. And think about it. The era that jazz was born into was during the Harlem Renaissance in America, and that certainly was a time of explosive creativity at that time. And so Harlem Renaissance was about a little bit before the 1920s, its peak being during the 1920s to the early mid 1930s. And so I think that helped to explain that, because again, unrestrained experimentation, that's a lot of what was going on musically during that time. And even though that graph, even though it's a quote after a paragraph about Cuphead's musical inspirations, I feel that a similar unrestrained experimentation can be traced back to the origins of the rubber hose animation used in the game. So if you compare rubber hose animation to most modern animations where realism is favored for those, rubber hose animation is exaggerated and unrealistic motions and expressions. And so that is basically important when you also consider the time frame that rubber hose animation was mainly being used, which was also around the same time of the Harlem Renaissance. It was during the 1920s that rubber hose style was being used as the main animation style. During that time, silent films was still the main the main way of showcasing films. There wasn't that much audio or dialogue yet still. And so rubber hose having those exaggerated emotions and expressions, that is an important part, because if you're not having any verbal dialogue, and especially if you're not putting written dialogue, as you sometimes do with silent films on the screen, you want the characters to be large with their expressions and their movements, and that's why I say larger than life, especially when these subjects sometimes would even be animals, and acting in human ways, but not at the same time. So it was really important to have all those exaggerated movements and be unrestrained with this experimentation when you think of the animation during that time. So, and also, if you want to compare it back to Cuphead, which we are, Cuphead, in my experience with playing the game, there's barely any verbal dialogue within the game. There is some, but it's more of cues rather than to drive forward the plot that is going on. And so it's also very important in Cuphead to have those big, expressive, exaggerated movements and animations as well. So that's why when I recognized that connection, I saw it as a great connection between the two, and that it was perfect that rubber hose was used in that way. So with that little topic, not little, but with that topic of silent films and everything needing to be big and amplified, that's just it. Everything is amplified. It's from the music to the visuals with the rubber hose style. Even yourself, you get your feelings amplified when you're playing the game to match the larger than life effects these creative forms gave in their original eras. So one of the examples that I want to bring up is that in a number of boss levels, like the one you'll see when we play later, the boss can take up like half of the screen at times, further exaggerating how big and menacing the boss may be is compared to, your puny little character that's trying to beat it. And with the music, while the visuals alone can certainly communicate a narrative, the music extends it and it exaggerates the chaos that you're seeing with its own musical narrative. So it helps to fully encapsulate you in that environment of, oh, you're trying to beat this boss within a game in this 1920s style game with all this pandemonium. It really does feel like it puts you right in the cartoon, and that you get a chance to be the hero or fail multiple times within the game. And so that brings me to your feelings. Your feelings and your ego will get amplified as well while playing Cuphead. So part of the things that may inflate your feelings is like hearing the same portions of a track in a level over and over again can definitely up your frustrations from the lack of progress. And so I know that's why I said I needed to take a couple times off when I played this game myself, because sometimes I would get so discouraged by making it to the same parts of the level and hearing the same sounds, and then having to restart because I either died in the game or I messed up on starting an entry point of starting the level off right. So hearing those cues can up your frustration, but those very same tracks can also be the fire lit in you to keep trying and beat the level. And so that unrestrainedness and big personality of these level themes, they don't back down, making you not back down and feel all the more confident to keep taking on the challenge, regardless of how small the boss tries to make you feel. And so that's the main things that I wanted to talk preemptively about Cuphead. If you just look at the animation style with it being rubber hose, it starts off with that foundation of, hey, we're in a cartoon world, things are going to be wacky or quirky and things are going to be a little bit maybe unrealistic or not what you're expecting. But again, it's not just, oh, you're in a cartoon world. It's like, oh, you're in this large world that's being created and the music's there to bring you in and the visuals are there to give you contrast and show you how you fit into the world. And then even as a player outside of the character you're playing, it gives you cues of whether or not, oh, you didn't beat the level, you failed, let us play the failure music. But maybe that failure music is going to drive you into pressing restart again. It's a very extroverted experience. But why have me just talk about it this whole time? We're actually gonna play the game, but we're gonna take about 5 minutes to get it set up. We want to make sure everything's all right, and then we'll come back and then we'll finish out the stream by just playing about 15 or 30 minutes of the game and me pointing out to you some of these examples from what I've talked about earlier within the stream. So we'll be back in a bit, but we are going to take a break. Alrighty. So, welcome back. We are now going to play Cuphead. And if you miss the beginning parts of the stream, please, there will be an archive of this stream up later, so you can see all of the cool things we talked about prior to taking the break. And again, if you've enjoyed what we've talked about so far, please consider subscribing to the channel by clicking the subscribe button down below or wherever it's at on your screen. We really do appreciate it, and thank you for all of you who are here, whether you're actively chatting or not. We appreciate that you're here. So yeah, you can even hear the ragtime music in the background that's being played with Cuphead. So we're gonna play that. I'm gonna point out some of the stylistic iterations of the 4-note theme, which is not this, but the 4-note theme that's in the game's overworld, and then I'll play a little bit of the game. Yeah, that timer. We need to keep track because I could get lost in this game. Thank you, Tamberly. But we're going to also play a little bit of the boss level to kind of show you how that visual and musical implication of things being larger than life and, kind of the exaggerated size comparisons and such. So, let's get into the game. So we are doing this on my personal file because I wanted to just get through all the things. I've unlocked a lot. I've made it more than 50%, as you could see, of the game. So we're gonna try to we're gonna see what to do. You hear that? That is the main 4-note theme. This, where we're at right now, is the main island, first island within Cuphead that you're introduced to when you start the game. You can hear the little kind of bump, 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 bump jazz music going on, but the da-da-da-da, that is the 4-note theme. And if I'm wrong, well, that is what that's what I'm considering the 4-note theme. But that's very important, to know. It's not hard to know, was what I said, about that being it, because those stylistic iterations, I'm going to take you through the rest of the overworlds before we play the boss. It has those very things. You hear da-dun-da-dun-da-dun-dun. It has all these different 4-note themes. In this area, I didn't show you most of the overworld one, but in this area right here, you hear more of a carnival, fun fair type sound. I'm already getting excited just listening to it because all these bright, colorful animations and these little, they're both dancing the same, little two characters. But you hear all of it. This is the boss that we're gonna be doing, but we'll get back to that after. But yes, you hear that very jazz sound, or that's it kind of leans on, you know what, I feel a more ragtimey feel, but I did not, take the discipline in jazz or ragtime, so don't quote me. It's on stream, but don't quote me. But I definitely feel it more because of that old piano sound. It definitely gives that feeling to me. And then, this is the third overworld. You'll hear it. It's gonna come up soon. You have the da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da. That's the third iteration of that 4-note theme that you see in the overworld. And this level right here is more, it is like the more urban city life, town life places here within Cuphead. I have not unlocked everything here, as you'll notice. I've still got things to beat, but it definitely fits the environment that you're seeing there. For me, how I would describe this iteration of the 4-note theme, it definitely, if you want to equate it back to everything's time in history, it gives me that feeling of you're in a prohibition era styled bar, you know, the types of bars they show in those movies in 1920s and early 1930s. And so this theme is definitely giving those vibes that you're at, you know, at a music bar, you know, hearing the jazz music and being led in by the speakeasy. So it just already sets you up and is already very creative with the different themes that you get in the different worlds within Cuphead. So that's that. We're actually going to get into the boss level that I have in mind. And again, this boss level, it like many of the other boss levels that if you play the game yourself or watch the game, which I highly recommend both watching it and playing it yourself, just don't get too frustrated, that this level right here, like most of the other levels, shows those larger than life characteristics. So as you can see, that's like you see the bird's nest and the little bird house there. So we've got a bird, if you want to say it, Will, that we're gonna be fighting. I guess I'll be fighting in tonight's stream with this level. So enough talk. Wally warbles in aviary action. So no promises that I will beat him tonight. I'm just gonna try my best. So let's get into the stream. Get into the main part of the stream. All the parts were the main part, but now I gotta pay attention. So you see, there's a huge. Oh, I don't remember the controls. I switched the. Oh, okay, there we go. It was a learning curve. See, it throws you right into the action with the music and with the visuals. It doesn't give you time to breathe. So I'm just gonna be honest. Everything from the music to the visuals is making me frantic right now. Okay. Okay, I'm a little bit focused on. Oh, take that back. Oh. And as you can see, I didn't make it that far. Then the music kind of gets muted, and it sounds like a failure theme, which I did fail, but because of the tryhard that I am when it comes to gaming, and I've beaten this before. That was that flagpole that we saw at the beginning. I want to beat it. I want to try again. You know, the frustration's starting early. So you can hear it. Some of this music you'll hear later on, but not as muted now. So I'm gonna hit retry. Gonna go again now that I've got my, I would say sea legs, but I don't think that would be appropriate. Maybe my wings. Gonna try again now that I've got my wings. Oh my goodness. Oh, okay. Oh my goodness. How do I? That's how I do that. Okay. I set my controls up differently for this game. That's why I'm trying to relearn what I have to do. Okay. Oh, he's in his second phase. This is another one of these exaggerated, larger than life experiences. You've got his feathers going towards you. Up. And oh my gosh. Like arrows. I'm trying really hard. I only have one life left. Oh my goodness. Oh, dang it. Oh, this is... Well, I wasn't gonna pan out well, but I got farther. And that's another thing. Visually, it shows your progress. So if the music and the failure sounds don't already motivate you to try again, showing how far you got but the fact that you didn't complete it will also motivate you to try again, which is what I'm gonna do. By the way, I'm no longer with my Joy-Con setup. I've got my Pro Controller back. It had a little bit of Joy-Con lag, which is why I didn't use it for Trombone Champ and Untitled Goose Game, but we're back with the pros. Oh, I almost thought I quit out. All right, it's game time, professional time. I focused. Nope, I'm not. But I can at least try. All right, I'm just gonna let you know I'm not really a parrying person, but and parry is when you hit the pink objects on the screen. Sometimes I'm more focused on making sure that I survive. Okay. And obviously, so in the levels, this is, like I said earlier, this is where most of the, jazz influence is. You can hear that. Alright. And let me tell you, this jazz, it's not slowing down its pace. It's very, like, high energy, frantic. Oh, I'm not sure how I want to beat this dude. This is like the hardest part of this level. It's because he has those things following you. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's gonna be the tough part of getting through this, but gonna make it through. Alright. Oh. Ah. Oh. That wasn't the music. Music is very, yeah, it's a big amplification of that failure. I did not focus on that one. Alright. Giving it another shot. Alrighty. Y'all, if I'm silent. Oh, man, I'm not doing that. Okay. We're getting somewhere. Oh man, I thought I could just come play it safe. Oh. It's like the hardest part of this level. Can I get out? Yes! Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Please. Please. This part takes so long. Okay. Gonna keep going. You make sure to let me know when it's 30 because I could keep going at this forever. Okay. Okay, these damage him more. Because the music is so high energy, it's like influencing me to make like more fight or flight, you know, frantic decisions, you know, split-second decisions. It's not allowing you the time to think, oh, do I want to do this or this? No, it's like, you've got to do something, but you don't have much time. Oh, please. I don't even know if I'm hitting him. Oh, well. That was not good. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Please. I can't. Please. Oh, this one's so difficult. Oh. No, I'm so terrified. Oh my god, how he's aiming that thing! I'm not even there! Oh my god. Okay, okay. I had a feeling! See how close I was? I was so close. Sorry, I had to go silent there for a second because I just needed focus mode. It was the music and the horns, the da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. It's again very high energy, very high pace. And again, you see a whole bird in a stretcher now. That's what I love about seeing these rubber hose type animations, and paired with this amazing music composed by Christopher Madigan. It is with all these influences and inspirations, it just makes for a great experience. So I'm gonna try to go again before Tamberly stops me. Yeah, she says I got time. I'm gonna try to beat this stream if I can. Oh, what's so hard is just the 3 lives. Okay, well, I'm not setting myself up well for that. And that's another reason why I would, if I was playing this by myself right now, I'd restart from losing that life. And that's where the frustration kicks in. From when you get hurt so quickly at the beginning and you don't even want to continue. Oh, I hope I got him and not the bird. Okay. Oh my gosh, this dude is so difficult. That piano, oh, so good. I don't know, okay. I was like, I'm not sure how I can get out of this one. He is just aiming that thing everywhere. I don't think my method of like fighting the stage is the quickest, but it's the one that keeps me alive for the longest, so. Oh my gosh, okay. I thought the pills wouldn't go out because he was throwing up the other stuff. by mistake. Oh, this music. It's just you. It's so shameful. That's what it is. It just shames you. It doesn't give you the satisfaction of hearing the full, unadulterated. What is it? It doesn't give you the satisfaction of getting the full energy, like it is right now when you fail. It just gives you the muted version. Okay, Krista, it's time to focus up. Okay, well, focusing up did not work. I'm not happy with that. This is the hardest part for me. This is the hardest part. The way he's aiming that thing. Oh, please. I already know. Oh, but I had a good strat. Or I was changing up my strat at the very least. Back into the action. Again, not much voice acting, except for, like I mentioned in our earlier discussion, the beginning cue. Game on, a great slam and then some. Unless you want to count the chicken screaming at the beginning as a voice line, but I wouldn't. Okay. Oh my god. I gotta make this one count. I feel like this might be the last one. I hope I did not get that. Okay, I've got lives. I went right into it. I got one more solid try. Tamberly says I got one more try. Alright. Alright, this is it. Gotta make it count. I will probably be silent for this one as I'm trying to focus up. I'm so scared. It's this dang baby chicken. Please, I gotta make it count. I gotta make it count. It's the same thing. It's the same thing every time. But you know what? I don't think this will be the last of Cuphead. Like, Tamberly shaking her head. No, she doesn't think so either. I think, I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the stream that we have a community tab on our WDAV channel, and if you look there, at some point I'll probably be asking what games you want for us to continue and make it to a series, because right now we've just been playing games and the only one we finished was Untitled Goose Game. But I would definitely be up to making a Cuphead series and trying to beat through, if not the whole game, some of the levels. But yeah, gotta set a limit, because otherwise we'd be here and the frustration would be increasing for me. So I'm gonna quit the game and go back to the title screen for Cuphead. There we go. Gonna bring us there for now. Cuphead. I tell you, it's a fun and equally frustrating experience, but I think because of the frustration, that's what makes it really interesting. But you know what? That's what we've got for now. For now on Cuphead. Oh, that's what we have for now on Cuphead, and what I hope is that it's not the last of it, that we'll bring it back. But that's gonna be it for our stream tonight that we're gonna do for MMG. Let's see if we can get ourselves back to the regular things that we do. Let's see. Just checking to see if anybody chatted. Again, thank you to all of you who are here and have been here and even have popped in once. Are we back on the regular? We're back on the regular talking thing. All right. Well, that's going to be it for the stream. And I want to thank you all again for coming to this stream tonight and watching and being a part of it. It makes all the difference. Our next stream, what we're going to have, and let me tell you, I'm not going to give away the topic, but it's going to be a pretty fun one and interesting stream. Our next stream is going to be, October 23rd. It is 2 weeks from now. It's on a Tuesday. At 6 p.m. 22nd, October 22nd. There we go. So our next stream is Tuesday, October 22nd at 6 p.m. It's going to be a fun one. I can't give everything away, but I say continue to look at the community tab and sign up to the newsletter that's in the description, and I'm sure, you won't be disappointed. And don't forget, while you're doing that, make sure that you're subscribed to this channel. Other than MMG, there are lots of other cool things that are going on that we talk about: classical music and music within the community and local and global. And so please take a look at the other things that are also on this channel. You aren't just getting this, you are getting a lot of other fun and interesting content. So there's a lot in store. And if you enjoyed me and my personality or delivery of things, you can also see more of my delivery on my 4 p.m. Sunday shifts is 4 to 6 at the on our regular on-air programming at the station. You can listen to that through our WDAV mobile app, or if you're not catching it live, you can listen to it through the archive at wdav.org/archive. So you can listen to, as far as 2 weeks back, my previous shifts. So I want to thank you all again for joining the stream tonight, being a part of it. Makes all the difference, and so glad to have you here. I'm your host, Kristen Crumpler, and I'll catch you in the next stream. Bye!